Improving your stamina in boxing can be difficult and take a very long time if you're focusing on the wrong things. Most people will come to the gym and they'll hit the heavy bag as hard and as fast as they can and think this is going to improve their stamina. Well, that's not entirely true. But there are some methods that you can do when you're on the heavy bag or in training that will help you improve your stamina and endurance very, very fast. And on this video, I'm going to give you 3 of the best ways to be able to do this. Now, at the end of the video, I'm going to give you a programmed workout that you can do the next time you're in the gym that will not only help improve your stamina and endurance, but it'll help you test yourself as well to see exactly where you're at. Now, the first method that you can do is something that you don't even have to think about during your training sessions. And this was what I used to do after I come back from the Olympic Games and start training with 4 times world champion Evander Holyfield in Los Angeles, California. And when I started doing this method, yes, it was very difficult, but the gains that I got just took my stamina and fitness to the whole new level. Now, you might have noticed this if you're not American, but you see Americans boxing is they always seem to be so fit. Like, have you ever seen professionals in between rounds? Example like Floyd Mayweather or Roy Jones Jr. They're some of the greatest fighters ever, but they'll sit in the corner after round 10 and they'll be breathing like this. Just nothing at all. And I'm like, how are they that fit? I'm in the gym and I'm blasting away on the heavy bag and I'm absolutely exhausted after doing a 2 or 3 minute round. What are these doing that I can do to get to that fit? Is it natural? Well, no, it's not natural. It comes down to hard work. So what they are doing is reducing their rest time in between rounds. But that's not all. They're doing something else as well, what I'll talk about in a second. But first, when you do reduce your rest time, what is that going to do? Well, less rest time gives you less time to recover, which means now you've got to train when you're fatigued, which ultimately improves your cardiovascular endurance in training. And also what this can do is kind of mimic a fight. Now, even though you get a 1 minute rest in between rounds in boxing, if you think when that bell rings, what you're going to do? You might stare at your opponent and then you're going to walk back to your corner, you're going to sit down and then your trainer jumps in the ring, and then before the round starts, you're standing up again. You probably get around 45 seconds of rest in a fight. So this is only going to help you if you ever do get to that fighting stage. And as well, I just think it's pretty obvious that if you are having less rest time in between rounds, this means your body can become more efficient at recovering even faster. So if you get used to doing 30-second rest on the bags, in shadow boxing, on the mitts, just in training in general, even in sparring, when you do get into the ring, even though you might not get that full minute, it's still going to help improve your stamina overall. And another thing on that is, let's just say now your body is used to the 30-second rest in between rounds. When you're on the bag, how much fresher will you be when you do give yourself a minute rest? Right? Your body's going to be like, wow, this is easy. And this is exactly what I did when I first went to America. All of the rounds was 30-second rest. The 30 seconds goes like that. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is so bloody hard. I'm exhausted. I need a longer time to recover. And I felt like I did until my body started adapting to this rest time, and then I started recovering the same way as I did from having the minute rest. Now I was doing that in just 30 seconds. This really did elevate my overall fitness and stamina in boxing. Now, one more thing on this is you can also increase the round time if you're doing boxing for fitness. If you're used to doing 2-minute rounds, well, you can boost that to 3-minute rounds. Now you might be thinking, well, I'm absolutely exhausted after 2 minutes. Well, now it's the time to boost that up to 3 minutes, and your 2 minutes will seem easier, and because you will be getting fitter and your body will be adapting to the longer round times as well. And this, my friend, will help improve your stamina, especially if you're doing it with tip number 2 and tip number 3 on this video and the workout that I'm going to give you at the end. So that being said, let's move on to tip number 2. And I get asked the question all the time, Tony, what can I be doing to improve my stamina in boxing? And I get this on all social media platforms, people asking me this question. And my quick answer is always the same. You should be doing bear crawls up a hill, and then when you get to the top, doing push-ups, and then come back down, doing roly-polies. That right there, my friend, will get you really fit. No, I'm joking. The best way to get fit at boxing is by bloody boxing. Like the best way to get better at running is by running. The best way to get better at making a cup of coffee is by making cups of coffee. The best way to improve your stamina in boxing is by doing the boxing training, hitting that heavy bag. Now, I want to get a little bit deeper on the actual workout that you can be doing that will help improve your stamina, which is, again, something that I did when I was in training camps with Tommy Brooks, working alongside Evander Holyfield. Every single session started the same, and you should do this as well. I would start every session off with a 10 to 15 minute dynamic warm-up, followed by 4 3-minute rounds of jump rope without the rest in between. Now, the clock would be beeping in the gym. I would work through the 30-second rest. So that was around 14 minutes of jump rope without a break. From there, I would jump in the ring and do 4 3-minute rounds of shadow boxing. As you can see on the screen now, me and Evander Holyfield, we were doing this side by side. So the best fighters of all time are also doing this. And these 4 3-minute rounds only had the 30-second rest in between. And that would be it. For every single session, it would start like this. Now, if you think my body is adapting to doing this boxing specific stuff for every session, it's only going to improve my overall stamina and endurance, right? And there's no reason why you can't do this either. Now, moving to the end of the session, this would finish off the same every single time. I would go on the speed bag and I would do 2 3-minute rounds going through the 30-second rest there. So it was like a 6.5-minute round pumping out on the speed ball there. Now, you might not have a speed ball accessible to you, so what I would recommend, some light shadow boxing. When you're here, you're moving around, reflecting, thinking about what you're working on the session. Your coach might have been telling you to bring your hands back to your face after every punch. That's exactly what you're going to be working on. And you can go through that for 6 minutes as well. Again, this is boxing specific stuff that's going to help improve your stamina. After I did the speedball or the shadow boxing, then I would finish the session off with 3 to 5 minutes core work where I'm doing sit-ups, planks, different exercises right there to strengthen up my core muscles. After that will be a full body stretch and cool down, lying down, taking some deep breaths, working on recovering my body so it's ready for the session the next day. Now, moving on to tip number 3, which it might seem pretty obvious, and a reason why a lot of people are getting tired in boxing is because they're not doing this. And to be honest, even after 100 and odd fights that I had and all the success that I did have in boxing, this was something that I struggled with as well, especially when I was sparring. I would come back to the corner and Tommy Brooks, my trainer, would say, "Tony, your lips are blue. Why are you not breathing?" And I wouldn't be breathing. Now, there's some methods of breathing that you should do, whether you're sparring, hitting the heavy bag, or shadow boxing, that you should be doing. And when you're doing this breathing the correct way, it will help improve your stamina because of 2 things. One is you're going to be able to do more training throughout the session because you're not going to be getting as tired because you're holding your breath. And the more training you do, obviously, the fitter and stronger and more stamina you're going to get through doing that training. So when you're learning how to breathe correctly, it's going to really help you with that, which will help you with your stamina. And the second reason is it's going to help you recover better in between rounds as well when you're breathing the correct way. Now, with the breathing, every time you throw a punch, you need to exhale. I've done videos on this on the channel before. I've spoken about it multiple times before. Every time the round ends, this is when you need to take deep breaths and take total control of your heart rate. At the end of a round, you've got that 30 seconds to recover. A lot of people are like this, leaning over, exhausted, letting their breathing take control of them. You're not that guy, especially after watching this video. Now you need to take control of your breathing, get that heart rate to decrease, and that's going to really help you there if you're doing this correctly. Now, before I give you this great workout that you can do, which will 100% help improve your stamina, I want to give you 6 quick tips that I never touched on this video that will help you with your endurance and stamina. First one is your nutrition. If you're not eating correctly before you go into the gym to train, you're not going to be able to train as long and as good as you would be if you had the right sort of fuel in your body. It's like putting petrol in a car. You need to have the right sort of petrol to be able to perform. If I put water in that car, it's not going to move at all. So make sure you're putting the right sort of fuel in your body that will give you the energy to be able to perform at your best for every single training session. And that moves on to quick tip number 2, which is hydration. Same thing applies. If you're not hydrated, you're not going to perform at your best. You need your muscles to be hydrated so you're fast, you're loose, and your mind is sharp as well. Dehydration can spoil all of that. Tip number 3 is recovery. If you're not recovering correctly, you're not going to be able to perform at your best. Now, one of the best things you can do for recovery is sleep. Having a great night's sleep will help your body recover, which will help you train better the next day and ultimately help improve your stamina. If you need some tips on sleeping, you should check out my wife, Nurse Sarah Jeffries' YouTube channel. She gives you loads of great tips there. But if you're going to check out her channel, make sure you don't leave any crazy comments like a lot of people do. Now, moving on to the next tip is at the end of your session, make sure you're cooling down correctly. This is going to help your body recover for your next session the next day, which you should be working out multiple days in a row. If you want to get fit and you're only working out twice a week, you'll get fitter twice as fast if you're doing 4 sessions a week, as long as you're doing the workouts like the one I'm going to give you right now. Now, moving on to the next tip is take the bloody stairs rather than using a lift or an escalator. If you're in a shopping mall, if you're in a multi-story building, yes, walk the stairs rather than taking the lift. This is something I was really conscious of when I was fighting. I would never take the lift. I wanted to burn them calories. I wanted to keep my body active and moving. Now, this might only help you 0.01%, but if it's going to help you 0.01%, let's take it. Now, moving on to tip number 5 is, if you play video games, use something like one of them Oculus machines. They're great. And when I lost all my weight, when I used to be this fat, and then I went to this fit, I was using Oculus machines all the time to help me work out, and a lot of fun as well. Do this workout that I'm about to give you right now at least once a week, because this, my friend, is what I used to do as a professional boxer. And when I start getting my body used to this, it really did take me to the next level. So make sure you're doing this workout that I'm about to give you right now. Now, before I give you that workout, I want to say, if you're enjoying my videos on YouTube that I give you for free, you will absolutely love my course, Master Boxing, which is guaranteed to help you level up your boxing game. There's over 120 videos on this course, and for each video, there's quizzes that's going to quiz you, making sure that you're understanding everything correctly. Now, there's scientific studies that say if you're answering questions about the things that you're learning, it's going to help retain in your brain for even longer. Now, this course has helped thousands of people reach their full potential in boxing, and I know it can help you as well. If you go to TonyJeffries.com or scan the code right here, it'll take you straight through, get more details about this course, and I guarantee that you're going to love it. Now, let's talk about this workout that you should be doing to help improve your stamina. And I've studied so many high-level fighters. I was a high-level fighter myself. I've trained with high-level fighters often, and this workout, even though it's going to seem pretty basic, it is a game changer when you're doing it right. So here it is. We're going to start off with a 10-15 minute dynamic warm-up, followed by 12 minutes of jump rope without stopping, which I spoke about earlier on. After you've done your warm-up and jump rope, then you're going to get out an agility ladder if you've got one and do some footwork drills. After you've done your drills, you're going to put on your gloves and then go on the heavy bag. I'm going to tell you exactly what you should be doing on the heavy bag, but first I want to talk about the gloves that I love to wear. They are Hayabusa, and I absolutely love the quality and just how high quality these are. You've seen these in lots of my videos. There's lots of different colors. They're all fancy and all that, but they've got the plain ones as well. Now, I highly recommend these boxing gloves. Now, you can get 10% off these gloves and anything else on their website. If you use the code TJVIP, go to HayabusaFight.com. I've got all the links below. Now, once you've got your great Hayabusa gloves on, it's then when you can go over to the heavy bag, and what you're going to do is do 8 3-minute rounds with 30-second rest. Now, when you're on the heavy bag, you're not just going to go through the motions like I mentioned about the shadow boxing. You're going to really put the work in and push yourself. Again, this is what I was doing with Evander Holyfield. You can see, again, here, how hard we're working side by side, pushing ourselves. At the time, Evander Holyfield had been 4 times heavyweight world champion. But that didn't stop him from pushing himself when he was on the bag. And at the time, I was undefeated professional fighter in 9 fights. I'm pushing myself, putting myself through it to not only build the stamina, but to get better at boxing. So when you're doing this consistently with the 30-second rest, yes, it's going to really help you level up. After your heavy bag work, it's then when you're going to go onto the speedball and do 6.5 minutes if you've got access to the speedball. What this does, it's going to help you with your arm and shoulder endurance, because you're going to keep your arms up when you're hitting that ball. Now, if you think when you've got your arms up for 6.5 minutes, what's that going to do? It's going to be burning like hell on your shoulders. But because you're going to be doing this consistently, it's going to really help with that stamina that we're trying to build. And if you can't get access to a speedball, then I would do 6.5 minutes of light shadow boxing. Again, focusing on keeping them hands up, moving around. We're not going to be as intense as we were at the start of the session, but now it's more of a cooling down phase, but as well, active cool down, because you're going to be throwing them punches and keeping the hands up. Then moving on to the core. Always finishing with core work. When you get strong core, this doesn't just help you get a six-pack, but it also helps you with the rotation in your punches. It helps you punch harder, punch faster, prevents you from getting injured on your lower back because you're strengthening all your core area up. So we'll do this for 3 to 6 minutes at the end of every session, non-stop. And then after your core work, then my friend, it's time to go through the cool down phase. Fully hydrate, fully recover for your session the next day. This is the workout that I did consistently. I didn't just do it once a week. I did this 5 times a week. And it was always 8 rounds of boxing. Sometimes I would do 4 rounds, maybe sparring, or 6 rounds sparring, and the last 2 rounds would be the heavy bag. Sometimes I would do mitt work with my coach for 4 rounds, 6 rounds, and I would do the last 2 rounds on the bag, but I'm getting them 8 rounds in every single session. And the ladder work with the drill, what I mentioned, I didn't do this as a professional. I should have done this as a professional, because the benefits of doing this is absolutely next level. And I had no one to show me how to do this, but you've got someone. I've created this full video showing you 25 footwork drills you can do on a agility ladder. If you click here, watch this video next, I'm sure you're going to love it.